Hi, in this video we are going to design this sign up screen using SwiftUI. I have two previews. We are going to design this using preview 1. So over here we have preview 1. Preview 2 is just a reference image. When we go to the assets folder, you can see this is the image which I loaded to the preview 2. So let's start to design the sign up screen using preview 1. We will start from the top to the bottom of the screen. So let's change this text to skip. That is this text over here. You can see on the screen it is displayed on the right and on top of the page. What we just added is displayed at the center of the screen. We can use a horizontal container and push the text to the right using a spacer. So let's do that. First, we command click the text and embed in a parent container called hstack. The text still remains where it is, so we are going to use a spacer. So just above the text, we will place a spacer. You can see now the text is pushed to the right. If we want the text to be pushed to the left, we can change the position of the spacer by removing it and placing it below the text. So this depends on the parent container you use. I'll press Command Z to undo the change so that we place it on the top and the text is displayed on the right. So let's go to the next. The title of the page is just below the first text we just added. Let's embed the text in a vertical parent container. So let's control click and place it in VStack. So inside the VStack, we will add the text. You can see it is displayed just below the first one. Next, we change the text to Nimble News. What we have to do again is to add the illustration you see over here. So that is an image. So we can go to the library and search for image. I'll drag to add an image view over here. Then we change the name. Let's go to the assets folder. I have this image, read. Let's preview the image. So this is the image we are going to add. By using its name, we can add it to the screen. So we go back to the project and change the image name to read. So you can now see we have the image. The image is bigger than the screen, but we can resize the image using the resizable modifier. If you look at the image, you can see the aspect ratio is not right. So let's add the aspect ratio modifier to resize the image. Instead of fill, we will change the content mode to fit. So that fits the screen. We also want to give the image a fixed size. We can use the frame modifier to do that. So I'll add the frame modifier. Let's set the width to 300 and the height to 220. Next, let's change the text above the image to title. We can do this by using the font modifier and set the parameter to large title. The title is close to the text above it, so let's add a space around the text by using padding. So we have now increased the space between the title and the text above it. Next, we have another text which displays the headline. So in the VStack parent container, we are going to add a text just below the image. So we can copy one of these and paste it over here. I'll change the text and put the one that is shown over here. I'm going to change the font size to headline. There is also another text below it, so let's add it as well. And change the text. So looking at the image, you can see here the vertical space between the two texts we just added is smaller than the vertical space between the text and the illustration, and also between the text and the buttons. So we can embed this one in another parent container. So let's command click one of the text and embed in a VStack. So let's remove this and place it inside the parent container, and then add a space around the text. So we are going to add the pattern modifier here. Next, we are going to create the buttons. So let's start with the first one, log in with Facebook. We will add them in this parent container, but we want the first two texts to be together. So let's embed this parent container in another VStack parent container. And add a space around the text. So we are going to use the pattern modifier. Now we are going to add the buttons. These are just rectangles. So I'm going to add a rounded rectangle over here for the first button. It takes the parameter corner radius. So we are going to set the corner radius for the rectangle to 32. You can see the rectangle has taken the whole space. So let's resize it using the frame modifier. We will set the width of the rectangle to 250 and the height to 64. Next, we want to change the foreground color from black. So let's add the foreground color modifier. We are going to use the system blue color. So let's remove this and put color. Inside the parentheses, let's put system and select system blue. So the rectangle has changed to the system blue color. Let's also add the text on top of the rectangle. We can do this in several ways. We can use a ZStack parent container or use what is called an overlay. You can use overlay to place one view on top of another view. In this case, we have a text and icon just on top of the rectangle. So let's use the overlay modifier for the rectangle. You can use any view in SwiftUI as an overlay. So as you see here, there is an icon on the left of the text. We can do the same thing using what is called label. Using label, you can place an icon just beside a text. So I'm going to write label. In the label, we are going to use an image, which is an SF symbol. So let's put the text first. So we put log in with Facebook. Then we add the system image. For the system image, we are going to use an SF symbol. Now, let's look at how it looks. We only have the text on top of the rectangle. So let's open the SF symbol app. Over here, we are going to look for the letter F. So we use the search and go through the list. The one we are looking for, I have the name in mind. That is f.circle. You can see here we have the letters, so we go to the section where we have f.circle. By pressing Command Shift and C, we can copy the name. Then we go back to the project where we have the system image. We are going to paste it here. you can see we have the icon now shown on the left of the text. Let's look at the image. Over here you can see we have 3 buttons. So let's copy the first button we just created and paste over here. So we have the 3 buttons. The second one is log in with Google. So I'm going to change the text to log in with Google. And the third one is log in with Apple. We also need to change the icons. The middle one uses the letter G. So we go back to the SF symbol application again and look for the letter G. This is the one we are looking for, G.circle. So I'll press Command Shift and C to copy the name. Then we come back to the project and replace the icon. You can see here the letter G is displayed on the left of the text. Let's replace the third one by using the Apple logo. So we go back to the SF symbol application and search for Apple. This is the one we are going to use. I'll press Command Shift and C to copy the name. Then we come back to the project and replace the icon over here. So you can see from the screen, we have all the icons in place. Let's change the colors as well. You can see here the middle one is using red color. So we are going to change the color to system red. So we change this to system red. You can see it is reflected over here. For the third one, we are going to change it to gray color. That uses system gray 4. So let's change this to gray. Then we select system gray 4. So we now have all the colors as shown in the image. Next, we go to this section. That is an H stack. It contains the letter O. Then we have 2 dividers, one on the left and one on the right. So let's look at how to do that. Just below this parent container, let's add that content. Let's add a text view. You can see there is a divider on the left and another divider on the right. So we are going to use a horizontal parent container. So let's command click the text and place in a horizontal stack. So you can see here we have the text just below the buttons. On the left, let's add a divider. A divider is just a line. You can see the divider we just added is shown vertically. If you have the parent container H stack, the divider will show vertically. If you have a vertical parent container, the divider will show horizontally. So let's embed the divider in a vertical stack. I'll press Command and select V-stack. So you can see it is now shown horizontally, but it has pushed the text to the right. We are going to add another divider to the right of the text so that it will be placed in the middle. Let's copy this and paste it just below the text. So you can now see we have both dividers. That is exactly what we see in the image. Next, we go to the button log in with email. The button is the same as those on the top, just that this is an outline button. So let's copy one of them. Just below the H stack parent container, we are going to place the button. So you can see we have it here, but this is an outline button, so we convert it to stroke. Let's add the stroke modifier. And the button has been converted to and outline. Then we change the text to log in with email. We also need to change the icon. So let's go back to the SF symbol application again. In the search, we are going to look for envelope. Let's select this one, envelope.fill. So I'll press Command, Shift and C to copy the name. Then we come back to the project and paste it here. And that has been reflected on the screen. If we go to the image again, the stroke of the button also has the color system blue. So let's change the color to system blue. What we have to do next is to create the text existing account login. So just below the rectangle, we are going to add the text. I'll copy this and put it here. Then I'll change the text. When you look at the text, you can see existing account and the login are in line, and the login text is in blue color. In SwiftUI, you can use the plus sign to put two or more different text in line and style them differently. So over here, I'm going to add the plus sign and add another text. Let's copy this and paste it here. On the image, that is the login. So we change this to login. You can see there is no space between them. So let's add a space here, and that is now reflected. What we have to do next is to change the color of the login text. So we are going to add the foreground color modifier and change the color to system blue. So you can see the color is also reflected on the screen. Let's add a space between this text and the buttons. On this horizontal container, we are going to add padding, and that has increased the space. So at this point, we are going to end here, and this is how to design this sign up screen using SwiftUI. We designed this screen based on this image.